and use science for what it's meant to be and keep it and give it its epistemological weight, its value that it deserves. But we don't need to restrict ourselves to it. Is that rational to you? Okay, khalas, alhamdulillah. So then what possible other routes of knowledge could we have if it's not only now restricted to science?
700 AD.
What do you mean the year 700 AD? Oh yeah, 700 AD, yeah.
Prophetic revelation.
Yes.
From the divine revelation from the one who created us. You see?
I find it interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why the Quran convinces people because of
I'm on camera now.
No worries, it's educational only. It's only educational, yeah.
one of the reasons why the Quran convinces the mind, agnostic mind, and so on, because of the evidence it provides. It just simply doesn't say believe and that's it. It provides the mechanism to believe at the same time through evidence and support.
Is there evidence? Can we see evidence that Muhammad split the moon in half?
You and I know we haven't. But that's not the evidence the Quran is giving us now here. Because some evidence are time bound, the people who witnessed it, people who witnessed the splitting of the sea, raising of the dead and so on, for them it was an evidence against it. They will have nothing in the day of judgment because that's a hujjah. It means a proof established against them in their history because they could not explain any other way.
I understand that.
For us, Quran provides loads more perpetual, universal evidence which is within our reach, rather than evidence which was time-bound, historical at the time.
Tell me about some of these evidences that are within our reach.
Exactly. The Quran says if this book wasn't from God, you should be able to imitate it, either the whole book of it, 10 chapters of it, or even a single chapter. The Quran even challenges it and gives this fortification to us. That if it was from God, there's no way you can imitate it. But if it wasn't, you should be able to. And Quran doesn't just stop there. It says, like, if you really think it's not from God, you can't do it yourself, then go and seek helpers and supporters if you need to besides God.
I'm talking about...
So why is it that 1444 years or so has gone? People still think like the Quran. The Quran is an Arabic language, on its own linguistic genre and its own stylistics. Yet this is different from ordinary Arabic speech. It is different from the speech of the pre-Islamic poets. It is different from the speech of the soothsayers. It is different from the speech of the Quran. So the Quran is on a linguistic genre absolutely unique in its meters, rhymes and stylistics. Of course, the content goes with it with eloquence. If it was something, a human speech made up from one human being or a collection of human beings, you should be able to imitate it. If I ask now ChatGPT, compose me a Shakespeare sonnet, it will do that straight away in 30 seconds. And someone who's a Shakespearean scholar will say, oh yeah, it's exactly with this criteria. These syllables and so on and so forth, they match. But if you ask ChatGPT, nicely enough, imitate the Quran, it would not be able to. I've got a whole more than 1 hour video on this, trying to help him out, or it out, to make and imitate the Quran, and eventually he had to agree that we cannot, because of the nature of the Quran and its stylistics.
It's very specific, but could you not say the same thing about the Bible? And if not, tell me why.
The Bible doesn't even challenge anyone because it's human speech, human writings, human authorships, and you can compose something like the Bible. Like, have you seen, for example, the writings of the Church of Latter-day Saints, Book of Mormon? Sounds very much like the KJV, very similar, right? So, but the Quran in Arabic language, which is the original language, nothing can be imitated. So one of the most powerful evidence of Islam being true, Prophet Muhammad being true prophet, Quran being the divine revelation from Allah, is this inimitability challenge of the Quran. It's called tahaddi in Arabic, linguistic inimitability challenge of the Quran. People have been trying for the last 1400 years, and all they are now agreeing that, okay, even the scholars in certain the
non-Muslim scholars as well.
Why is it so difficult? Sometimes we ask the Orientalist scholars, why don't you attempt to try it? They don't even go near it because they know they can't.
1400 years is a tiny speck amount of time. We should give it millions, really.
Who were the best people to imitate the challenge of the Quran? The people who at that time were the best in their language. The Arab poets during the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, contemporary people who were masters and experts in the language, who would live and die poetry, hang the best poem in the wall of the Kaaba, the Mu'allaqat. They were the best to meet the challenge. And they're the ones who conceded and they said, لَيْسَ هَذَا كَلَامُ الْبَشَرِ. This is not